in David's kitchen and he has the chef's coat on, so that means we're going to be making something yummy.
That's right.
This time it's from Portland's Chef's Table cookbook, and this is brand new.
It is.
Out, and there are some amazing recipes in here, and you are tackling one from 23 Hoyt.
23 Hoyt. There's a lot of signature recipes from some of the Portland restaurants, so it's a great way to be able to eat without having to go, even though going is the best thing.
Yeah, but sometimes you can't get to all of them.
And this is a simple one, and basically you can make this at home, and I believe it should be just as good as at the restaurant.
Okay.
And we'll find out in a few minutes.
Carrot soup with Chervil Cream.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So the first thing that we have is we have an onion and a couple leeks that we've just cut up, and we're going to go ahead and sweat those. And
If you don't know what a leek is, this is a leek. Yeah, those things that you probably never buy, but they're so yummy. It's like a mild onion, right?
It is. It is. And we're going to sweat that in a little bit of butter, and then we also have a little bit of chicken stock, just a little bit of moisture in it to help it.
Just a couple tablespoons?
Yeah, a couple tablespoons. What that's going to do is it's going to help it from browning more.
Okay.
So we'll get that started to sweat, and if you want to hand me the garlic, we can go ahead and add that in too.
Ooh. How much garlic?
That is about 3 cloves.
Okay. So it's going to be flavorful.
It is going to be flavorful. So we're just going to let this heat up, and then we're going to let it sweat, and then we'll start adding some other ingredients. So Robin, it's been about 5 to 6 minutes, and you can see that these are really nice and sweated down. They're nice and translucent.
And fragrant.
And fragrant. And I did add salt right after I added the garlic. I added a tablespoon, and it's a little bit less than the recipe called for, but I like to finish off the salt at the end because you can't adjust once you put too much in. And the salt at the beginning, though, also helps break down the vegetables a little bit.
Okay, and you're using homemade stock.
I am.
So if you're buying your stock at the store, it's likely to have some salt in it anyway.
That's right, that's
Okay.
right. So again, it's better to adjust at the end. So basically, we are just going to add in here a quart of chicken stock.
And that's heated?
And that's heated, yeah.
Okay.
Keep everything warm to begin with. And then we're going to bring this to a hard boil really quick, and then we'll be able to add our carrots.
Okay, we've got a full boil, so that means it's time for the carrots. How many you got here?
There is about, let's see, I think that's a pound.
Pound?
Yeah. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to try and cook it really fast. The longer it takes to cook, the more chance you have to lose the color of the carrots. So we want to cook it really fast, and we just want them to be soft. It's probably going to just take, 3 to 4 minutes. So Robin, it's been about 5 minutes. The carrots are really nice and soft, so it's basically all done. Now we just have to add some fresh orange juice and some carrot juice.
Okay, here's the orange juice.
All right.
About a half cup.
So that just adds a little citrus flavor to it. And the carrot juice, since it's not going to cook, is probably, it's going to add a little bit of fresh carrot taste. So it's not a cooked taste. And then all we're going to do with this, give it a quick stir, and then we're going to start blending it. And we're going to have to do this in batches because it's quite a bit.
Now, do you have to let it cool or no? Should you let it cool about 5 minutes?
You don't have to when you're going to be serving it soon anyway.
Okay.
And also, I think it breaks down quicker when it's nice and hot,
and you
too.
don't worry about it exploding.
Well, okay, I'm glad you brought that up because that was the one thing that I was going to say. The one thing that you do need to do is if you don't keep this part of the lid open, then you're going to have a problem with it. So that's what we need to do.
Just make sure it's vented.
Correct. And figure out how to get your lid on real quick here.
And you do it in batches.
I do it in batches because otherwise it would be way too much. Okay, so I normally, you can use a towel or you can use a paper towel. And helps if you have electricity. All right. And we're just going to puree this till it's really, really nice and smooth. Last batch.
Last batch going back into the pot.
And I've given it a taste, and I think the salt level is just fine. And I've kept it warm on the stove here. If you wanted to cool it down and have it tomorrow, that'd be great too. But otherwise, this is ready to go.
Wow.
And we're going to serve this with a whipped cream. Actually, it's not entirely whipped. It's just a little bit before it gets stiff. And the recipe calls for
Chervil.
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 Yeah. Okay.
Chervil. I don't know.
I couldn't find any, and they do call it the rich man's parsley. So maybe richer than my blood. So you can actually just use parsley.
So you used like an Italian parsley.
I did,
Okay.
a flat leaf. And we just, like I said, we whipped it up just a little bit. You don't want it to be too stiff. And a little bit of
pretty
chopped
is that?
parsley in there. And there you go.
Voila. Now that is a pretty simple recipe
is.
that is homemade, and I think it looks beautiful.
And from a great Portland restaurant.
Exactly, from 23 Hoyt. So, well, now comes the real test, though. We got to taste it. Did you already taste it?
I have.
Wow.
Does that work?
It's
right.
way more flavorful than I expected.
Try
It
it.
almost has a roasted flavor, and there's nothing roasted.
Nothing roasted. Nothing
That is
roasted.
absolutely delicious. All right, you can find it in Portland, Oregon's Chef's Table recipe book, which is a beautifully photographed book, by the way. And we'll also have the recipe on our website, fusionnw.com.